Hello, hello. Welcome to A Producer's Life in Uganda. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to, can you please? We're going to start and talk about what we have just done. Thank you very much for coming on board and coming in. And I'm going to be inside today, so it's a change. I'm usually outside in the garden, aren't I? But I'm going to be inside today to chat with you and talk about Let's Cook semi-finals. So just waiting for people to come into the live room to chat. And when you come in, please just let us know where you are coming from, which country you are coming from, and if you manage to watch the show. So we'll be looking at that and looking to see who is coming into the group. I will be giving you a shout out if you come into the group, and if you have a YouTube channel, just let me know so that I can give you a shout out on the YouTube channel, because that's always nice, isn't it? So I will be doing that for you. Just put that on silent there. Doing that for you as you come in. And also kindly, if you have a community tab, then kindly share this stream out with other people so that they too can come in and watch and see what is going on in here and ask questions and the rest of it. You know the rest of it, don't you? So this is what we'll be doing today. We'll be talking about the episode that has just happened. We'll give people a bit of time to come in from watching the show, because I know there's a few seconds delay for some people. And then we will get into the questions, the usual questions of which were your favorite dishes, and what you thought of the characters, what you thought of the results. And so that will be really good to find out what it is exactly that you thought of today's show. Again, very swift. If you missed the first part of it, then rewind and make sure you watch it. And then you can laugh and enjoy what happened at the start, because they were sort of a bit confused, weren't they? They were a bit flustered with the fact that they had to make a chapati without a rolling pin. But it was all part of the fun, and it was all part of the fun. Hi, Ronix Photography. That is a YouTube channel, and a YouTube channel that's actually based in Uganda. So do kindly go and support him with his channel after this stream. You can go out and check out. He does tips on Photoshop, how to do different things, and how to edit using Photoshop and the likes. So that's a very interesting channel there. If you could just let me know when you come in the room, if you could just let me know who is in the room by typing a message in the chat box. You should see a chat box there, and it says say something. You can type something in and say something. And then that way I can give you a shout out, especially if you have a YouTube channel. After doing the shout outs, then we'll go into talk about the show, semi-finals of Let's Cook. I will kindly find the link for you so that you can also catch up. If you didn't manage to see it, you can catch up and watch it, especially the first part, because the first part was very fast paced, and they had to make a chapati in 5 minutes without a rolling pin. So quite a few of them were scrabbling about to figure out and find out what it was that they were going to use. So yes, if you could also share this stream out on WhatsApp, share it out on wherever your Facebook page is, wherever your different, if you have a community tab, share it out so that we can get more people in here to chat, have some fun, have a laugh, and talk about Let's Cook reality TV show, which has just aired. The semi-finals has just aired, and we have had our first semi-finalist. So we've got UG Lacour, who also has a YouTube channel. So kindly go to his page once we've finished here, and you will be able to See, lots of different things there about fixing mobile phones, how to tear them down, tearing down Galaxy 8, Galaxy Samsung 8. I've got a Samsung 7. And you'll be able to learn lots of different tech things on that page there. That's UG Lakor, or is it Lakor? UGLAKOR. So kindly subscribe to that channel and you will be able to get lots of tips there. And again, that's another Ugandan channel. So there we are. We've got Let's Cook, which is produced in Uganda, has 9 Ugandan contestants who are very ambitious and who want to make it to the finals. Today, we lost 2 contestants in the semi-finals. So you can go and watch using the link above. You can watch the show. Very, very fast paced. They had to make a chapati for their first challenge. They had to make a chapati in 5 minutes. And the secret twist was they weren't allowed to use a rolling pin. So they were scrambling around to find what to use. And I think we had 2 aubergines and 1 carrot, if I remember correctly. So yes, that was quite interesting for them to have to be creative and think on their feet and still come out to produce something. The reviews from the judges were quite interesting. One of them definitely had undercooked his chapati. And if you watch, he was saying that there wasn't any fire. He wasn't able to get the cooker on quickly enough, and the heat, he hadn't left the heat on while he was preparing his dough. So that was his flaw there. And therefore, when he came to actually fry the chapati or to cook it, there wasn't enough fire and enough time for him to be able to do it. But when he was asked by the judges if he cooked it, he said, oh, yeah, I didn't want to overcook it, so as not to lose the nutrients. So that was poor Wanyala. Yes, I will tell you in detail what Boris Johnson did to me. Do you know what Boris Johnson did to me? I was watching I think it was the Prime Minister's questions. Next thing I hear is Boris Johnson doing an impersonation of a character from the Doctor Who series, which is the Dalek, and they talk like this. So he was doing that, and he was saying they will need to be exterminated. He was obviously trying to be funny, and he was trying to make us laugh, the viewers and the backbenchers and his opposition. So yes, so that's what he tried to do, was try to make us laugh. But if you watched the semi-finals tonight, if you didn't, that's okay, because I've put the link up in there. It's a Facebook link and you can watch it from the start, because the start is very funny. If you watch that from the start, then you'll have more laughs than Boris Johnson can give you, the new Prime Minister of the UK. So yes, very, very true. He did try to make me laugh, and I think I might have smiled a bit, but I don't know if he actually made me laugh. But he tried. Don't forget to give this streams a thumbs up, and don't forget as well to encourage people in your WhatsApp groups to come and join in. Your family members next to you, tell them to log onto their phones and come and join in as well, so that we can laugh and enjoy and have a nice time. Kindly tell me that you, sorry, kindly tell me if there's any problem with the sound or the image. So a message there from UG Lakor. Is it Lakor or Lakor? Lakor? Please do tell me how to do it phonetically. UG Lakor says, you don't want to know what minds, you don't want to know what minds has had. Oh, what you had in your mind. Okay, I don't want to know what you had in your mind. Okay. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because people have captions, people have thumbnails, and automatically in your mind, you have an image of what it is or what's going to be there. So, yes, so it's very interesting that in people's minds, you already have that perception of whatever it is that you think based on the person that you are being told has done something. You either think it's something positive or you think it's something negative. So yes, it's interesting to see what people actually thought. Yeah. So thank you for joining me today, and just let me know if you managed to watch it. If you didn't, you can catch it above in the stream above. So it's not too late to be able to do that. And then I will just talk you through the show, talk you through what happened, and we'll see if we can get any of the contestants in here because it'll be quite fun to sort of speak to them and find out, find out exactly what they thought of their experience. Sorry, I'm looking away. I'm trying to send a message on WhatsApp. Um, so that's what I will be doing. Going in. But kindly do try and share this out for me as well, because I'll be a little bit distracted with the different things that I'll be doing as well, trying to multitask. But that is life, isn't it? I'll be trying to do that. And yes, so for the show, really, let's see. Sorry, we've got another message here from UG Lako. He's actually worked out that every time you write a message that I'll say your name, and he's a YouTuber, so kindly go and check him out afterwards. So he says, sounds great. About the episodes, should we expect more after this season? Because I understand you're premiering the finale soon. Yes, the finale is going to be next week, Saturday. And it will be at the same time, 7 p.m. It will be, sorry. The second semi-final is next week, Saturday. Then the finale will be the week after that. Once we've finished the season, then there'll be details of how people can apply to be on the show. And then we'll have to go through and vet those people and see who will work well in a new series. But we have shot season 2, and we have our winner already for season 2 of the show. But we need to make sure that this show picks up and the show gains traction in Uganda so that it's worthwhile me actually producing this show here in Uganda. Obviously, our hope and our prayer is that people will catch on, people will share it, people will share the links so that other people can watch it. In the comment section of this video that you're watching right now, there are the links for episode 1, 2, and 3. And I will also add, in fact, it's here already, I'll also add the link for the episode that we've just watched. And then what people can do is people can watch it, make sure we get the numbers up, make sure that people like sponsors and people that would be interested in supporting the show can come on board because they know that people are interested in it. Once that happens, then it will be a case of then coming down to shoot season 3 of the show. Because remember, I said season 2 has already been done. But again, we need to know that there is support in the country for this type of things. Because my main intention for bringing it to Uganda was that, well, we've got things like Food Network, and generally they show shows that are in America, shows that are in the UK. We've got things like the Great British Bake Off here in the UK and MasterChef all around the world. But why can't we have something that's produced here in Africa, here in Uganda, featuring Ugandan contestants? And it's okay to have diversity within the country, but as long as it's in the country. So that's what was my vision of we can do the same thing, high entertainment value, high quality, good, good. For me, it's more about telling the stories as well and telling the lives of the people and allowing those values to come through their lives to inspire other people. So, so doing that here in Uganda, there's no reason why we can't do it. All of this at this point in time is self-funded. So I've gone off by myself. I'm an independent producer. I've gone off, I've created the show, and it's airing here in Uganda on Record TV. And so to answer your question, we've got season 1, which will be finishing. We'll also have season 2. And then based on the people that apply as well, and based on the support of the industry and generally people like yourselves, then we'll look to be putting out season 3 as well. And thank you, Petra Karl Mukama. And if you go to, just give a shout out here quickly before I move on to that question, which I've seen, Uganda Leko. You still haven't told me if I'm pronouncing your name properly. If you go to Petra, French, is that French? Karl Mukama's site, then you'll be able to see that he's created playlists, but he doesn't have his own videos, is my understanding. But he has 8 subscribers. I don't know if you are looking to increase that or whether you're just a YouTube user. But do let us know. And then if you are looking to start putting videos out there, you can connect with people like Uganda Lako, who has a YouTube channel. And also you can connect with Ronix Photography. So yes, next question from UG Lako. Your question was about what really inspired you to start it. So I think I kind of covered it a bit there, didn't I? Basically, I had a desire to create something. Like God put this burning desire in me to go out and create something that could have a social impact. Basic user, okay. Something that could have a social impact in society. And I thought about what I could do, and I just had this idea of let's cook. And I had the idea of, food is one of those things that people come together to do. It's a family activity. It's something that can bring people together. It's something that people can unite on. And I thought, well, why can't I bring people's stories to life through a cooking competition? And my surname is Ingero. Elizabeth Ingero is my name. And Ingero in Luganda means proverbs or stories. So Ingero Productions, basically what we look to do is to inspire people through the lives of others. Media is a very powerful thing. It can be used to, encourage and inspire people. And on the other side, it can also be used negatively, of course, if people don't use it properly. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a positive impact on society by encouraging people to go and to watch people's stories and people's lives, and then be inspired by them, to figure out that not everybody has it all together. Not everyone's perfect. People have made mistakes through life, but they can come through at the other end. So in there, we have the story a few episodes ago. In fact, last episode, we have the story of Sharon Amoying. And she basically was pregnant when she was 9 years ago. The person she was with left her and then went with her best friend. And so those types of stories there, and she's now come through at the other end and she's seen light at the end of the tunnel. So that could encourage somebody else in that situation to realize that it's not the end of the world. And although society might shun you, you are still a valued member of society. Don't give up, keep moving on and continue to be inspired by these stories. So yes, so that's, one of the reasons there is touching lives through sharing sharing people's stories. So question there, we've got UG Leko. I'm really amazed how do you manage to balance the whole thing while in 2 different locations? I mean, creating such a nice content base in Uganda while in the UK. When I created the content, obviously I was in Uganda because I'm a presenter on the show. So this was 2018. I was there in Uganda. We shot. Then I stayed a little while to try and set things up for editing. Things didn't work out quite as I planned, so it took a bit longer. I came back to the UK. I had to try and seek services freelance servicing. Then I taught myself how to edit over like 2 months. I just went onto YouTube and taught myself how to edit as well, just so that I knew what I was talking about as a producer. You've got to be able to know all the different parts of the mechanism of the production process. And then with that, things that came back to me, I was able to fine tune it and put it exactly how I wanted. And in essence, I kind of ended up editing it because don't forget to thumbs up, guys. I can only see one thumbs up because I ended up doing that because what I was getting wasn't the vision that I had. Then what happened? Then I went back to Uganda to film season 2 of the show. And all of this was happening while when I went to Uganda, I went to the TV stations to see whether they were interested in the show and whatnot. And some of them were like, oh, they needed 13 episodes. And the way I'd created it in my mind, it was a 6-episode show. I created a 13-episode show, which I actually have. I have the footage and I have the show. But it was very long-winded and it was very slow. And it was the kind of thing that you would watch when you understand the concept of the show. And actually, you would really enjoy it because you want to see more of the stories. You want to see more of the lives. But I just had to say, do you know what? I have to stick to my original vision of 6 episodes so that people at the 6th episode will get their answer. I didn't want people to wait for however many months to find out who the winner was. So it was nice to be able to do it that way. You see, that's why I like things like Netflix. You can just binge watch, and then you get your answer right at the end rather than having to wait for 13 weeks. So yeah, currently I'm back in the UK because I had to attend some things here in the UK, and also I need to get my son ready for school because I was sort of contemplating homeschooling or whether he could go to school. And we're still in that process, but we're trying out him going to a small school. And then, so I need to settle him in for that. And then again, plans to go out to Uganda, finish season 2, the process of season 2, and also season 3, depending on how things move on. So hopefully that answered your question there. Don't forget, please do share out the stream, share out the stream so that people can come in. And it's not just me pestering people, but do that if you are able to do that. That'd be great. So yes, now, semi-finals. Did you manage to watch it? If not, please watch the link here. I've given you the link there. And you can catch up on the show. But we had some really interesting characters because we had Paul Wanyala, who was just comedy genius, Pablo Semper, who great, again, is good TV, and John Paul O'Mara, who, if you saw what he created, wow, that was a dish and a half. So we had some really, really good contestants in there. All guys. We had to lose 2 and remain with 1 semi-finalist. Now, initially, they were told that they had 5 minutes to create a chapati. At the start, before they started cooking, it was quite nice because Pablo kind of gathered them all together to make sure that they knew how to make chapati. And Paul really needed that advice because Paul Wanyala hadn't cooked a chapati in his life. I'm sure he's eaten many chapatis and Rolexes and stuff like that, but he had never cooked his own chapati. So this was a new thing for him. So that was quite nice, the camaraderie, although there's like banter in the group, but there was still that kind of, we're still together, we're still friends, but once the clock starts, the game is on, So they managed to do that, and they managed to keep him, in the loop by telling him what he needed to do. Then they were told they weren't allowed to use rolling pins, so they had to use different things. I think aubergines were the order of the day. They were able to use aubergines, eggplant, to roll their dough. But yes, definitely. And the other thing Pablo did as well is Pablo set a dishcloth on fire. So yes, he is a very dramatic character on the show. And he was always, was also told them, why are people scared of him? Because he was saying that in his interview, was saying that he's very loud and he's outgoing, and that's just him. He's a lively person. And some people love it and some people hate it. But once they actually get to know him, they will really see his character for who he is. And I can testify to that, that he is a very, very down to earth person. In fact, all the characters, Paul Wanyala, very lovely, funny guy, and John Paul O'Mara as well, very sweet, very ambitious, knows what he wants to achieve, and I know that he will achieve it as well. So all of them are really good, and they gave us a good show today. Pablo Semper has actually gone to create something called Pablo's Plate, Pablo's with a Z. And you can see that on Instagram, Pablo's Plate. It's a yellow symbol. And so he's doing stuff with cooking there. He's out of the country, unfortunately. So we would have had him on interviews and whatnot in Uganda, but he's traveling the world cooking and doing things with his life. So that's wonderful. But yes, Paul Wanyala is a funny guy. And there was one of the clips that I wasn't able to keep in the show just because there wasn't enough space in there. But maybe we'll have a best bits compilation or something. I might do that on YouTube, a best bits compilation. But Paul Wanyala, there was something he did which was really funny. He said that he wanted to go into organic farming. And he's always wanted to go into organic farming and whatnot. And he grabs a guava from one of the trees nearby while he was just waiting for someone to come and ask him the questions. He bit into it. He's like, yeah, I want to go into organic farming, like fruits, that he ate it. And unfortunately, the guava was rotten. And he's like, not this type of organic farming. You see, that's why GM products, produce are not good. So he's naturally a funny guy. If it's a clip that I had to cut, unfortunately, it would have been really nice. But it's one of the things I had to cut. And then John Paul O'Mara as a character, oh my goodness. He was so competitive. In fact, in his application form to come onto the show, he was so confident. He was like, yeah, we said, is there anything else that we should know about you? And he said, yes, know that I'm going to win the show. So I like that confidence. I really, really like that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, UG Lacor. Please, everyone, check out that channel. Does really, really good content there. Check out the channel, learn how to fix things and get things all done. And thank you so much for joining. Much appreciated for the questions. If you can still share out, do that. And also do watch the episode above if you missed it, and spread out for other people to watch it as well, because I think you watched it. Hello, Becky Allens. Becky Allens, welcome very much. I'll give you a shout out right here as we're just having a pause there. Becky Allens has a YouTube channel. There you can learn how to cook grilled chicken. I know you've watched one of her videos there with spiced up chicken. So that's really good. She's able to do that for you. And also just different things. She has an introductory channel there as well, her Get to Know Me, how to be more confident. So any of those things, just go and check her out. It's free. Subscribe to her channel and watch her content and leave comments. So it's free to do that. Thank you for joining us, Becky. Becky Allens, did you watch Let's Cook semifinals? And if you did, what did you think of it? And if you didn't, thank you. Yes, thank you, UG Leko. I think both of you should be connected. Becky, if you don't have UG Leko, who's with us there in the UG group, then please click on him and don't forget to go to him and subscribe to his channel as well. So that would be really good if we could connect you two. And also, if you could also go to Ronix Photography. He's also been in here as well, Becky. So there we are. So yes, Becky, did you manage to watch the semi-finals? If not, there's a link above and you can catch up and watch that. And I will also put a link in the description so that, sorry, I'm holding onto the laptop so it's shaking, so that anybody who wants to watch it can catch up and watch that there. So that will be really good and really useful. So we were just talking about the different characters on the show. So we had Paul Wanyala, we had Pablo Semper, and we had John Paul O'Mara. And those three characters brought something different. They really, really brought something unique and different to the table. And so it was nice seeing the different characters and the different life stories. And in the semi-finals, we got to actually hear a bit more about their lives and their philosophy to life. So how they deal with setbacks and what attitude do they take forward in life? What attitude do they do they give in life or have in life? So that was one of the things that we managed to see in this show. It wasn't all about the cooking, it was about their life stories. It was about them sharing their life stories so that we as the viewers can take a little nugget from it. So again, if you're watching it on Facebook or if you're watching it on TV, it goes really quickly. So I'd advise that you watch it again to really fine tune and see what really happened without the distractions all around you. I definitely will be watching it again because while I was there, I was also typing on the Facebook comment page to remind people to come here to chat to myself, to chat to me. So I like to sit down and actually watch it and enjoy it properly. Even though I've seen it, lots and lots of times, it's still enjoyable for me to watch it. And I must tell you, continue watching straight through. When you get to the finals, you will need a handkerchief. I think most people who have a heart will shed a tear. So yes, that's one thing to point out. So we've had them cook their dishes. Pablo Semper created something which he called the setting sun. So they all had the same ingredients: gonja, a bell pepper, and gizzard. It was up to them to decide how they prepare that meal. And I wonder, Becky, how would you have prepared the meal? I wonder what you would have done with that. Well, with Pablo Semper, he sliced his gonja, he glazed it. Oh, if you're so emotional, then you really need to watch the finals. It's very, very heartwarming. It's very, very heartwarming, and I can't say anything else apart from that because I don't want to give anything away. Anything can happen, and so yes, just watch the semi-finals, the second one, and then the finals as well. And yes, I can say that every single time I watch it, even though I created it, but every single time I watch it, I'm holding back the tears. I'm like choking up. I'm choking up. So yes, Pablo Semper had sliced gonja. Then what he did, he sliced the bell pepper to make a sort of a ring. He seasoned the gonja, sorry, the gizzard, and put it with spices, paprika, things like that. He made bechamel sauce, which is like a cream sauce. He he fried the gonja in strips and then he honey glazed them. And then he put the gizzard, he roasted the bell pepper, he put the gizzard inside with the bechamel sauce, and then he decorated the plate like a sun. And he called it the setting sun. He said it was inspired by Kalangala Island, and that there's that earthy smell and that earthy feel. I think he also put mushrooms in his gizzard. So that's what he did. Then Paul Wanyala, he had his gonja. He roasted his gonja in the oven and he put a slit and he filled it with pureed avocado. He then cooked the gizzard. He cut the bell pepper into half, long ways, horizontally, and then he filled that with bits of gizzard. I put that with bits of gizzards there, and I think some carrots. Then John Paul O'Mara. Now, what John Paul made was quite impressive. Pablo made something quite impressive, but John Paul also made something quite impressive. And he called it gonja 3 ways, I think he did. He fried gonja with one, and then he made gonja chips for another. And then he did it a third way. He did the gonja in the third different way. He made like a tower for the bell pepper and just chop off the top. He filled it with the gizzard, and then he put the gonja chips inside the gizzard so it stuck out, and also just arranged the gonja in such a way that the plate was just looked so delicious. The problem that both John Paul had and Paul Wanyala had was that their gizzard was a little bit tough. So that's one thing that prevented the judges from really, really enjoying it. But look-wise, John Paul O'Mara really, really, really did a good job, I must say, in terms of the presentation. So those are the characters. Those are the characters that did it. And then what were the judges' feedback? What would the judges say? And what did the judges' feedback to them? I think the judges' feedback was fair. And to be honest, Judge Priscilla said that all the meals were really good. So she enjoyed all the meals, which means it must have been really hard for them to actually choose, who to go. Because remember, this time around, they had to get 2 people to leave rather than just 1. So if you've just come into the room, if you just type a message so I know where you are in from, and also if you could let us know where you are watching from as well. If you have a YouTube channel, let us know, and then we can give you a shout out. So yes, the judges had to do a very, 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 very hard job. Very hard job because, would I have been able to choose just, the flavors, the taste, the presentation. In fact, I wish I could eat some of those dishes right here, right now. I wish I could. In fact, I might just have seconds of dinner. Have I had dinner yet? I can't remember. But yes, so it was just so delicious. The meals were so good. And if you think about the fact that these are things that we eat in Uganda, gonja, even matoke, when they made matoke, gizzard, bell peppers. Although in Uganda, they use predominantly the green bell peppers is what I've seen people cook with. They use that just generally, just like onions. They use that a lot in their cooking. The contestants use red bell peppers. So these are ordinary foods that we can get here in Uganda, but the different contestants cook them in a way that is different to what would be expected in Uganda, which just goes to show that you don't have to be outside of the country to enjoy fine dining meals or to experiment with fine dining meals. You can make that right here, right now, here in Uganda, but you just have to be inspired to think beyond the usual, okay, let me steam it, let me boil it, let me just put onions, garlic, and tomato. It's very good to inspire people to think outside the box. Now, Becky Allens does cooking demonstrations as well. So even watching things like that could help broaden your horizon as to what is available out there. What you can get, what you can create, what you can do with the food that's available for you. So that's something that anyone can do. You don't have to be a chef. You don't have to be a chef to be able to do that. So yes, you don't have to be a chef to do that. So let's continue to create things. Let's continue to think outside the box. And then it will help other people to be inspired. It will help other people to be inspired as well. So what did you think about the judge's decision? Anyone else still in the room? If you've watched it, do you agree with that decision? Do you think that the right people left? Or would you have chosen somebody else? Okay, so we've had another entry into the room, and that's Vuikosi Yonke, and she's actually a YouTuber as well. So kindly after the live stream, just click on those 3 dots, and you can go to her site, and you can see the types of stuff that she does there. She does beauty products, beauty hair products. She does things. She's based in South Africa, So she does things like hair tips. She does, um, do you do food as well? Do you do food? But lots of different things there, fashion, Forbes. Just have a look, go and see what she has going on and subscribe to that channel, hit the notification bell, watch videos and comment. So that's Vuyokazi Yonke. So thank you for joining Vuyokazi Yonke. I hope you enjoyed that shout out. And we're talking about Let's Cook reality TV show, which I've produced. And Vuyokazi, if you check out Becky Allen's as well, she's a Ugandan YouTuber and she does food as well, like you. You see? Check her out and see. And guess what? There's someone else in this room. I'll give a shout out since I'm still on shout outs here, called Vera Tunes. And she's actually a recording artist, musician. She does Afro beats music and just music generally, lovely voice. So you can check out her channel. And she also does sort of lifestyle things like reality of living life as a recording artist. And I love that kind of stuff because sometimes you see the end product, don't you? You see the TV show or you see the song or you see but you don't get to see the hard graft that goes behind the scenes. You don't get to see the family life behind the scenes, having to look after kids, having to get that work-life balance. So yeah, Vera Tunes is another one to check out for that. And so hopefully you can all connect. And if you go further up as well, we had UG Lakor, who was there, and Ronix Photography. So do check out those channels. Ronix Photography also does Adobe, like how to do Photoshop and things like that. UG Lakor does phone breakdowns on Samsungs and different things like that. So we're just talking about Let's Cook, and we're talking about the semi-finals. Because we've had the semi-finals now and we've lost two contestants. We've got our first finalist who is, spoiler alert, Pablo Semper. So you can watch the show here. And I'll just summarize for those who've just joined. They were given their initial challenge. They were given 5 minutes to make a chapati. And the secret twist was they were not allowed to use a rolling pin. So they were panicking, going everywhere to find what they could use. And they used I think most of them used eggplant, which is also called an aubergine, to roll out their chapati. One of them forgot to put their cooker on to start heating up while they were making their dough. So they had, like 60 seconds left and they were trying to put the cooker on, no fire, no fire. And obviously he undercooked his chapati. When he presented his chapati to the judges and they said, "Is this cooked?" He was very witty and he said, I tried not to overcook it so that I didn't lose the nutrients. So anyway, watch the show yourself and you can see what happened in the show. My only thing is that it's very, very quick. It's very fast paced. You have to be on it and focus and watch to see all the different bits, like someone burning the dishcloth and one of them, poor Wanyala, he looked around for his cupcakes. So they had to make cupcakes as well. Their main dish, they had to use plantain, which is called gonja in Uganda. They had to use, if you are able to share this stream, please do share this stream. Don't forget to thumbs up, share the stream so we can get more people in. I think this is the most I've ever had on a live stream, 6 watching, wow. So, so they had to use gonja as their main ingredients, 3 ingredients, gonja, bell pepper, and gizzard. So those were the 3 ingredients that they had to use to create whatever they wanted to create. Someone went for the setting sun, which is the image that you saw on the screen if you clicked into the live stream. And it was sort of plantain going around with bechamel sauce, bell pepper, and gizzard in the middle. Somebody else went for slit gonja filled with avocado puree and then the gizzards on the side. And then somebody else went for a bell pepper pot with 3 types of plantain or gonja. They decorated that and made a sauce as well. They put honey. They went for an Asian-inspired sweet and sour sauce. So it's interesting that, because we've gone out there to showcase what is out there in Uganda, these people have come up with these amazing dishes. Whereas, we're so used to Food Network and MasterChef and Great British Bake Off. giving us these contestants that are able to produce these wonderful things. But here in Africa, we can also, can step up our game when given the opportunity to actually showcase the creations that we can come up with using our local produce. Someone made in the first episode, they made matoke balls, seasoned matoke balls, cinnamon matoke balls, and everyone was surprised. Oh my goodness, you were given matoke, beef, and a carrot, and this is what you came up with. So the creativity is out there. It's the opportunities that people need to showcase their work and to showcase who they are as contestants. So yeah, that was really, really interesting, just seeing the fact that they came up with totally different meals and nothing that was standard to really what you'd find in a restaurant in Uganda. So that was quite nice, just seeing the diversity there, for them to be able to showcase their work and to showcase what they're doing and what they were able to come up with. But unfortunately, we had to lose 2 contestants today. And we had to sort of see their flashbacks of, their journey on the show. And I must say that Paul Wanyala really made me laugh. He was just a character and a half. The fact that he had his cupcakes cooking in the oven, and then he started looking around for his cupcakes. He's like, who took my cupcakes? He thought one of the other guys had played a prank on him and taken the cupcakes from the presentation area, and they were still in the oven. So that really cracked up Pablo Semper. And the rivalry between those two as well was quite interesting, because Paul Wanyala was always looking for, he kept on saying that, oh, Pablo's hiding my knives. But in reality, he wasn't hiding his knives. Paul Wanyala had a knife on his table. He couldn't see it. It was right there near the chopping board, and he was looking around for a knife. Then he went to someone else's table, went to Pablo's table to try and get a knife, and Pablo's like, no, get away! What are you doing? And the rivalry between those two and the interaction between those two is just priceless, just totally priceless. So if you managed to watch it, what do you think of the show? If you didn't, the link is above, and you can. Sorry, something just made a noise, so I was trying to work out what it was. The link is above, so do go and watch the show, see what all the fuss is about, and then you can also, you can also sort of comment on what you thought on the Facebook page. You can comment on the Record TV Uganda Facebook page. You can comment on what you thought about the show. So yes, hopefully people are happy that Pablo have gone through. People seem to have liked Pablo's character. But in this episode, we saw more about the lives of the contestants. And really, that's what Ingero Production aims to do, is to tell the stories of the characters so that other people can be inspired by them, be inspired by their trials, be inspired by their life circumstances, be inspired by their view of life. For example, they all shared about what their attitude to life is, and I think a lot of the things that they said would resonate with a lot of us. And a lot of the things that they said would make us think, what is my attitude to life? How do I approach life? Do I have an attitude to life? Have I thought about life in general and how I can, what I'm going to take forward as my theme of life, if you want to put it that way. So it's getting the viewers to think about themselves and to think and reflect on life and reflect on different things. That happens like that. But yes, this, I think so far is one of my best episodes. And from start to finish, it just makes me laugh just watching the characters. And there's so much that I couldn't put in the show. There's just so much that I think, if I have time, I'll put, unseen footage or uncut or whatever, those things that they do where you see not the bloopers, but the things that you missed out in the show. And I might put something together, but yeah, so quite a bit of banter between the contestants. But to be honest, I really like the way the characters gelled and the way they kind of came together, the way they had a camaraderie amongst them. I'll move this closer. The way they had a camaraderie amongst them, even though they're in a competition, they still kind of wanted to help each other, because at the start of this episode, they kind of came together and the guy was like, oh, do you know how to make chapati? Yeah, it's this, it's flour, it's this. This is how you do it. So yeah, that was really quite nice, them being able to help each other out, even though they were on a show, even though they're on a cooking competition and they have to compete with each other. So so it's good to see that. Now, what's going to happen next? Obviously, we've lost Paul Waniela and John Paul O'Mara, who was sure he was going to win. And to be honest, it was really close between himself and Pablo as to who would take on the semi-finals, who would become the finalist and go into the finals. And John Paul O'Mara was so desperate not to be in Pablo's group. And he requested to shift from Pablo's group because he was like, no, I want to face Pablo in the finals. But yeah, sometimes life doesn't work that way. They had to be in the same group and they had to battle it out to get to the finals. But definitely stay tuned and watch the semifinals, the second of the semifinals next Saturday, and the finals, which will make you cry. Oh my goodness, it's so sad. It's sad in a good way. It's emotional, I must say. It's emotional, but it's also uplifting. And that's one thing that I've tried to do. Every single song that you hear on the show has been chosen by myself. I use a licensing site called Artlist. And once you get that music, it's yours for life to use commercially or personally. Once you download it from their site, you have the license, your license number, you've got your page, and you can, and it's artists, real artists. Actually, Vera Tunes, you should check that site out. You should check that site out, Artlist. They've got real musicians who make music and they get to put their content on there, but it's all done professionally through the site Artlist. It's not like a site where you just upload, it's a company who choose different artists to kind of showcase, I think is the word. And then you can go and listen to an artist's collection of music. Sometimes it's instrumental, sometimes it's got lyrics. It depends what you're looking for. And they also put it in categories. So it could be tension music, it could be uplifting music. But if you notice, if you listen to the score of Let's Cook, it's very uplifting. It's very light-hearted. It's very sort of happy and friendly. And then obviously when the judges are judging, then you've got a bit of tension there. And when when the time is up for them cooking, you've got a bit of tension there. But generally, the show in itself, as you're watching the show, it's supposed to give you a feel-good feeling. It's supposed to kind of, make you happy and make you think about life positively and make you appreciate that, yes, there are ups and downs in life, but there is a way through and there's light at the end of the tunnel. So, sorry, there's something in my eye. So yes, that's what the show, I picked every single song and I imagined every single song where it was going as well. Like when I was listening to a song, I was like, oh, yeah, that's going to come here and that's going to be there. Oh, yes, Artlist. I'll just type it in here. If you just put Artlist into Google, and I think it's artlist.oi or something. It's not like .com, it's OI or something like that. I can't remember. And I wish I was still, I'm not currently a member at the moment, but if I was, I could have given you my link with my name and then you'd have got a discount, then I would have got a discount as well. But I had a year subscription and I've cancelled it at the moment just for priorities of budgeting. And I've got my music that I had during that period of time, which I can use for life now, which is fantastic. Because for other sites, it's just a one thing. You maybe have to pay like £79 to play one song, to use one song commercially, which is ridiculous. And then if you want to use a song from a person that's there, like maybe, for example, for the trailer, I wanted to use Shakira's music, This is for Africa, Samina, Mina, hey, hey, that one. And I called up and I had to speak to, I think, Sony Records. I called up to find out what the process is. And they were like, well, you need to, first of all, you need to pay like Sony Records, like maybe 200 and something pounds. And then you've got to go to Shakira's own management team and their people. And then you've got to pay them money as well. And that's just to use the song once. So I was like, no, there must be a way to, there must be a better way. And I found Artlist, thank God. And that's what I've used for the whole show. So I don't even need to, I don't need to reference it. I don't need to, if I want to use it for YouTube, I can. But if you notice, I don't use music for YouTube. I find that it's very distracting, even when I'm watching other people's videos and the audio balance isn't right. You can't hear what they're saying sometimes. And sometimes the music is just so loud and you're like, ah. So I like it when you just hear the information, unless if there's no talking going on. That's for YouTube specifically. But anyway, Artlist is the thing there that I've used for the whole show. And it's really nice to be able to handpick the score, handpick the music, and choose exactly where it's going to go. And that might be something that I'll have to let go of when the time comes, when I can, I feel like when I feel creatively, I can trust somebody who has my same vision and who understands where I want to go with something. And I can just give it to them and say, okay, yeah, you know what the vision is, create it. But at this point in time, I'm not there yet. And I haven't found that resource at this point in time and built that trust with a team or something like that. So it is me picking the music, choosing where it goes, and it takes a lot of time. So a lot of midnight working and a lot of sort of landscaping to see, okay, this goes here and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully that's been useful for you. Any other questions about production or about the show or about anything else? So just I will just quickly read out again the names that have come into the room. I'll go from top to bottom. So we've got Petra Carl Mukama, who doesn't have a YouTube channel, but Petra, if you are still watching, there are lots of people below that I would kindly suggest that you connect with. It's free, of course. So there's Ronix Photography, who does Adobe Photoshop tutorials. There's Yuji Lacour, who does Samsung breakdowns and phone breakdowns, plus more. There's also Becky Allens, who does motivational sort of material and food tutorials as well. And we also have here Vuyokazi Yonke, who is from South Africa, and she does hair products and reviews, and she also does sort of businessy Forbes image lists and things like that. I've mentioned Becky Allens, I think. Yes, I did. And there's Veritune, who's a recording artist, but has created a YouTube channel to kind of show behind the scenes and share her content as well. And I think she also has Instagram as well. So there you can hear lots of different music. So if you want to just put on playlist and just put music and listen to the music, then you can do that as well. So yes, so in terms of Let's Cook, what's going to happen now, we're going to have the second of the semi-finals. The people involved in that are, there you go, put myself on the spot. The people involved in that are Hakeem Bwanika. Then we have Sharif Mabingo. And then we have Edith Kwagala. So 2 guys and 1 girl. And I know people were complaining, people were messaging me for the first episode and second episode. They were like, oh, why are they getting rid of all the females? Because in the first episode we had, in the first episode we had 2 guys and 1 girl and the lady left. Second episode, we had 2 guys and 1 girl and the lady left. And then in the third episode, we had 2 ladies, 1 guy, and then a lady left. So people were like, oh, why are they not keeping the women? But to be honest, the judges were told to, the judges were told to be honest on their taste and presentation. We weren't looking for them to do any fancy, pretentious judging, and all that is all well and good, but we just wanted them to look at the food and taste the food, give their honest opinion. Not, oh, you didn't cut the onions in this way and you didn't do this in that way. So welcome to This is Africa. And he is also a YouTuber. So everybody else above, who is Lacour, UG Lacour, Vera Tunes, Vukazi Yonke, Becky Allens, Ronix Photography, This is Africa. If you could check all of those and connect with those, they'll be really, really good. And then everybody else, if you could check This is Africa. He does content that promotes Africa. And recently he's been doing content that actually explores different YouTubers, what different YouTubers do. So they answer certain questions to showcase what it is that they do on their YouTube site. So you can go and have a look there, watch, comment, subscribe. That would be really good. So yes, honesty is the best policy. And it's one of those things that you're like, do you want to make a reality, real TV show, or do you want to do a stage show? So for me, because we did a lot of the shooting live, so I wanted the opinions to be honest, and the judges knew that right from the start. And they had to make the decisions by themselves to decide who deserves to move forward. And they had certain criteria. The main things were their presentation and the taste, but then they obviously looked at the overall picture potential as well. And they put through Pablo Semper for the semifinals. And you can watch, if you look above, there's a link, and in the comment section, there's a link to watch the episode that has just aired on TV. You can watch it on the Facebook, Record TV Uganda Facebook page. You can watch it. It's not live anymore, but you can, if you click on the link, it will take you to the video. And make sure you comment on there if you can. And then, yes, I wanted them to be real. So even all the comments that came through, Judge Michael saying that someone looked like they put Vaseline on their egg, they were just in the moment. There's just stuff that they came up with in the moment because we shot it rolling. We didn't cut. The only time while they were cooking, they didn't cut at all. So if they made any mistakes, if they dropped anything, if they burnt anything, in fact, in this episode that we've just passed, Pablo set fire to the dishcloth and we couldn't cut. So you hear in the show, I put it in there as part of the show. I'm like, Pablo. He couldn't see that it was on fire. So I had to point out to him. I had to go close by and point out to him, Pablo, your thing is on fire. So it's all real. It's all sort of the cooking bits are all live action. The stuff afterwards, they obviously recorded and then they went in and they cooked. And then the judges, the only time we had to stop, I think redo takes was when there was a dog barking. So the ills of production, we knew that was going to be picked up and it was still picked up, but we kind of tried to, as much as possible, mask the sound. But yeah, it's real life, real opinions, and no favoritism. Obviously, bias is based on what people had cooked before, but sometimes that can go against you. If you made something really spectacular and then second time around you make something that's okay, then that can actually work against you because then the judges are looking for something special, aren't they? So, so yes, that's it's a real action. But yes, in terms of what will be happening next, as I was saying, what will be happening next, we'll have the second of the semifinals with those three contestants which I've mentioned, Edith Kwagala, Sharif Mabingo, and Hakeem Bwanika. And we'll see how they get on. Only one person can go through to join Pablo in the finals. And then they will also have the same secret twist, although they didn't know that at the time. So they'll have to cook a chapati in 5 minutes without a rolling pin. And we'll see what different utensils and implements that they use to do it. We have a few beginners for chapati as well. And some of them were like, wow, that's quite good the way you make that dough. But then some of them were just clueless, very clueless. And I think you probably saw that in the VT, in the sort of coming up next. Hakeem gets himself into a mess. So that's a bit of a clue right there. but but generally, yes, they were also a good group and they had fun and they were able to come out of their shell. It's a little bit, the group was a little bit more quiet than the, actually, no, they kind of picked up a bit, but, you know, not the to the extreme of Pablo and Paul, but they kind of picked up. Sharif Mabingo was quite shy. So he was just wanted to focus on what he was doing. He didn't want to get distracted, didn't want to kind of have his mind taken away. Hakeem Bwanika was the type of person that he couldn't multitask. So, and he needed really to focus as well. And he found it hard to do different things at the same time, monitor the cakes. And I think we had someone who had to make their cakes 3 times because they had to make cupcakes. They had to make it 3 times. I know. They had enough time to actually mix the batter 3 times, and still they didn't get it right. Oh dear. But yeah, we'll see if the judges can eat the cupcakes. And one person said that they didn't even know what a cupcake was, that they just kind of blurbed their way through it to make something that they thought was a cupcake. So yeah, hopefully there should be lots of enjoyment and lots of laugh. No need to go to Boris Johnson for laughs. You can come and watch Let's Cook. We'll give Boris a break for a little while, the Prime Minister of the UK, and we'll give him a break for a while of making jokes and gaffes, and come and watch Let's Cook instead. But yes, do spread the word because we need as many people to watch Let's Cook as possible so that the people that would come on as potential sponsors know that there is interest in the show. So however you can, sorry, something just went like pepper. However you can, spread the word, get the word out there for people to watch Let's Cook. And that will be great. That will be really, really great. So I'm going to have a look at the time and see what the time is now. So we had 5:30. Okay, it's almost time to wrap up. So I came on I should have come on around 5:30 and it's about 6:30 now, is it? Yes, is it? So thank you all very much for joining me. Look forward to seeing you next week because every week after the show finishes off, we come in. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get Pablo Semper into the chat. He is, I think currently he's in Côte d'Ivoire. So he is doing cooking out in Africa. Which is really great because this, you know, obviously being on this show has inspired him to create Pablo's Plate as well, which is PLABOZ plate. He's got I keep on mixing up these different social media things. He's got an Instagram page, Pablo's with an S. Let me see if I can write it. Pablo's Plate. So you can check that out and see some of the meals that he's created. But he's a really lovely guy. He's a family guy, you know. And in the show, he says, actually, was it in this season or was it in? No, I think it was in this one. You see, I need to watch it again and watch it without any distractions of texting and whatnot. But yeah, he says that he loves his family. He loves his wife. He loves his kids. He doesn't want his kids to grow up. He just loves hearing them say, "Daddy, Daddy," when he comes home. So, you know, really lovely guy. All 3 of them, well done to Paul Wanyala as well. He's just a very comedic person, just on the spot. The way he was just coming up with things. You know, he made a 3-in-1 omelette, one with too much salt, one with not enough salt, and one that was just perfect in one omelette. And they asked him, you know, how do you manage to do that? He said, oh, it's a talent. And that was his first time of ever making an omelette. So yeah, it's nice to see those different characters. And John Paul O'Mara, wow, I wish I could package that dish he made in the semifinals and just, you know, rebrand it as mine. You know, this is my presentation. That's something that you'd find in a fine dining restaurant. And I think he's also gone on to work for cooking in the American embassy. I hope I'm allowed to say that. I think I am. And yeah, and he also wanted to start his own baking, something to do with baking, which I think he did, but then he's probably stopped it. So yes, these people are trying to do something and taking their cooking passion forward. And I know Uganda is moving forward with cooking as well, because they have things like, now it's in August, it's going to be you, Food Fest, Uganda Food Fest, where you can pay 20,000 shillings, which is about £4, and you go into different restaurants that have um, signed up to this Uganda Food Festival thing, and then you just pay your 20,000 and you can experience the food in that place on their set menu. And these are places that generally might be really, really expensive to go to. I know one of the restaurants that's on there is Mediterranean, which is really expensive generally. But if you're able to get a meal there for 20,000, a really nice meal as well, then that's a bargain. So things like that happening in Uganda. They also have like the baking festival, and they've got a few festivals that they're doing at the moment, which is really nice to see. So it's good timing as well with Let's Cook, showcasing that people can be extraordinary with ordinary materials, local ingredients. We can use those traditionally, but also we can experiment with them and create some really wonderful, delicious dishes. Now, I think I might be crucified for saying what I'm about to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm not too keen on matoke. That's a central, like a main thing in the central part of Uganda. It's like going to China and saying, I'm not too keen on rice, right? So, and not that I don't like it, I just think it's okay. But some people really love matoke. But the way Pablo made it, cinnamon matoke balls, now I could eat that every day, all the time, because he's changed it up. He's done something different with it. He's made, he's made it exciting. He's made it different. He's made it new. So, that's something that we can use our products, our local products in Africa, to create lots of different things that necessarily might not have been thought of if we weren't inspired or if we weren't encouraged to think outside the box. Now that's something that they do here all the time. You get like Heston, what's his surname? Heston Blumentine or Heston Blumen something. He goes and he gets normal ingredients and then he makes weird things out of them, but apparently they taste really nice. And he just creates those. He just keeps on thinking, what can I do with this? What can I do with this? Let me experiment with this. What does it taste like? What does it taste like? And he keeps on experimenting. Well, why can't we do that? Why can't we get, whatever country's dish, like Pablo did? You could get eba from Nigeria, and you could make, I don't know, custard eba or something like that. And you might find that it tastes really, 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 really good. But because we kind of want to stick with it must be this, and you must have this on the side, and you must have this with it, then sometimes we're missing out on a trick where we can rebrand our local dishes and make them international dishes. In China, they had like the bubble tea frenzy. People were having bubble tea, which is something that they would generally, the material they use, I think is used in China, but then it came over here and it became like you pay however many pounds to have this bubble tea, which I've never tried actually. But they look like frog spawns on the top, if you know what I'm talking about. But that's the kind of thing there. And macaroni and cheese, an American export, and things like that. Italian food, they've bolognese. That's something that we eat here in the UK a lot. Spaghetti bolognese. And I know it's different in Italy. They do it differently in Italy, actually. Even lasagna, they do it differently. Lasagna in Italy. But we've taken that on here in the UK. So why can't we bring African dishes and mix it up a bit and make it a general dish? They've done that in India. They've changed the curry, and curry now here, it's not the same as you'd have in India, but people know how to make a curry at home. They've done that with Italian pizzas. People can make a pizza at home, you know. So if we had different dishes and export of a certain dish that people liked eating and people found it easy to prepare as well, it wasn't like too laborious or too, there was an easy way of, not necessarily easy, but a way of doing it that is easy to pass on, I would say. Then people could be making, I don't know, um, fufu dumplings, fufu dumplings on a bed of suya something. I don't know, but I'm sure there is stuff out there. In fact, when I went to London, I was looking for a place to eat, a restaurant to eat in, and I was looking for African food. I ended up going for ribs in the end, but I found a place called Ikoyi. Is it called Ikoyi? And it's near Leicester Square. I didn't go there, I just Googled it. And they do like, if you look at their website, they do like fine dining African dishes. And that's the same type of thing that they do. They do your traditional things, but they mix it up and they do it in a fancy way and give you just a little portion. Now, the way I was feeling that day, I wasn't looking to go and have a fine dining meal with small portions. Mm-mm. I wanted the big pot of soup with assorted meat and my big starch on the end, because I don't really have that a lot. So, especially if someone else is cooking for you, you've gone through the whole effort. So I wasn't really in the mood of experimenting, beetroot plantain with on a bed of stew jus or whatever. But I am really in support of the idea, because if any of their dishes take off, then it means that they're putting Africa on the map, and it isn't like a specialist thing that you have to go to East London to have, or because that was the other thing as well. I was looking for places where I could just go and have like an African meal, but the restaurants in central London, I didn't find any restaurants that were Black Afro restaurants, which means that they've all been pushed to the outskirts, of course, because of rents and things like that. But if the food becomes more popular, with people trying to create dishes like, like how they had in that, I think it's called Ikoyi, then yes, then obviously it would be easier for people to charge more, number one, charge more for the food, although they do charge quite a bit anyway, but still charge more for the food. And then for people to want to try it. People go out to central London or to wherever, and they want to try Spanish food. They want to eat paella. They want to eat, because of course they've also been to those countries. So encouraging people to travel to those countries will encourage them to be awakened to those types of dishes as well. So that's another thing. But anyway, I've kind of digressed. I'm going to do a shout out to everyone who has come in the room. And we'll start from the top again. We've had Petra Karl Mukama, who doesn't have a YouTube channel, but is a YouTube user. So Petra, if you're still here, this message is really for you as well, because you can subscribe to all the people below without it affecting your subscription balance. And we've got here Ronix Photography, who does tutorials on Photoshop. And he's got some really, really nice images, actually, some really beautiful images. And he shows you how to like take out yellow eyes in, a picture that's been done. You can take out the yellow eyes and make it clear again. A little simple tricks and hacks. Then you've got UG Lacour, who does phone fixes. So he does breakdowns. There's a breakdown there of a Samsung 8. I've got a Samsung 7. This is my phone right here. So so he does that. And then okay, the message that has come through from This is Africa, but I'll just do the list. Then we've got who else? We've got Becky Allens, who does motivational topics. And so I think there's a video there on how to be more confident. And then she also does cooking, so cooking chicken and grilled with gonja, with plantain. And then we've also got Vuyokazi Yonke, who does hair. She does things to do with Forbes magazine within Africa. She does fashion. So she's South African as well. So you can learn about South Africa through her channel. And that's something I like as well. I like seeing, there's a guy that I watch who's gone to Burundi. He's Indian, but he's gone to Burundi and he's showing life out there in Burundi, like the different farming techniques and things like that. So it's quite nice to see different countries through other people's eyes. And of course, on my channel, A Producer Life in Uganda, you can see my road trips within Uganda as well. Then we've got Vera Tunes, who is based in the UK, but she's a recording artist. She's been out to Nigeria to record music videos. She did a music video there called Biko, which means please. And it's from the Igbo tribe. She's not Igbo, but in the video, she looked very Igbo with her rapper, and she had a guy that was there. And then she's done all the, other songs as well. She's got a song there called Jalo. So if you're looking for a playlist, music playlist, you can always go onto Virtues. I'm sure she's created the places of just her music. So you can listen to Afrobeats music there. And then we've got This Is Africa, who does all sorts, promoting Africa and also promoting other YouTubers recently on the channel. So he's actually created a playlist for the interviewing of African YouTubers. So if you want to find out about who's out there and what they're doing, you can do that through his channel. And also you can find out about different news things, different things that are happening in Africa on the This Is Africa page. And then I don't think I missed anyone out, did I? Did I miss anyone out? No, I didn't. So on to the question from This Is Africa. I wonder if some of the owners can charge more if they advertise their food as a fine cuisine of Nigerian, Uganda, and Congo, etc. Well, they do, because the Ikoyi thing that I was talking about, they actually do advertise themselves as fine dining African cuisine. And if you see their website, the pictures that they have on the website are really like fine dining food. You just see, that it doesn't look like your typical African restaurant presentation. The presentation is a fine dining presentation. And as a result of that, they do charge more. And because they are in central London as well, they are in, I think, near Leicester Square, because I was looking for somewhere near to the theatre where I was going to watch the show. Yes, I did. Vuyokazi Yonke, I did mention her. She's South African. So yes, so because they are in central London, obviously they have to charge more because the rent, I can imagine the rents there would be so high. So yes, if you went there, you'd be paying a lot, but you could understand why they have to do that. And just think about it this way, how much would you pay in another restaurant who was doing the same type of thing? So if you're willing to pay that in those other restaurants, then just because it's African food, why should you pay any less? And in fact, you should probably be paying slightly more because they would have to import the products from outside of the country to get you the different things like yam and egusi seeds and the melon seeds and all those types of things. But of course, when we're all going out, most people go to the same places over and over again because you know what you feel like eating, if you see what I mean, which is totally understandable and there's nothing wrong with that. But every once in a while, it is good to try and explore and see what you have locally, see what people are trying to do locally, and see if there's any sort of interesting, quirky, diverse things that you want to try out. Actually, do you know what? With Burger King and McDonald's, because I haven't been to a Burger King or McDonald's in London, and I did go this time round, but still, I think the cost of a burger, even where I live, the cost of a burger at Burger King, I think McDonald's is more reasonable price, but Burger King, the cost of a burger is expensive. And if you buy it from the motorway, on the motorway routes, their rents are more expensive. You can spend £8 for a meal, which would be how much? How many dollars would that be? Maybe about $12. And then just for a burger, you might even spend something like £5 for just a burger. which to me is just too expensive. I'd rather sit down and have a proper meal for that amount of money than for a burger. So yeah, you'd be paying quite a bit, surprisingly, for a burger. But then I know in like McDonald's is a lot cheaper because like I think you can get, I don't know, kids meal for maybe, I think it must be more than £1 now. Maybe it's like £2 or £3 or something. But it used to be like you could get it for £1. I'm sure the prices have gone up now. But yes, and McDonald's is making a lot of money all around the world. KFC is making a lot of money all around the world. And these are fast food chain foods, not necessarily the healthiest of options. Whereas you've got someone who is slaving in the kitchen using, ingredients that they're actually like, it's not just frozen stuff and putting it out. Although I think those chains are trying to change now, but they're taking the time to do that. They should be rewarded for their efforts. And that's not just a generalization in terms of, because obviously you only pay for what you can afford, right? So if you can't afford to go to the Ritz to have dinner, then regardless of whether the Ritz get their products from, I don't know, Iceland or Finland or wherever to give you fresh fish from Finland, if you can't afford that as a family to eat there, then you can't afford that as a family to eat there, regardless of where they got it from and how much they deserve it. You have to use your money as you see fit in terms of what you can afford with your family. So, yeah. So this is Africa says, I love it when I rarely see a McDonald's close. I love it when I rarely see a McD's close for business. So they're always open. They're always open. That's true. They're always open. Is that what you mean? I'd rather eat at local joints. Yeah, local joints as well. That's why I like things like Diners. I like the program Diners, Dives, and Drives, I think it is. And they go to local joints and they basically show you what they have on offer. And my mouth is always watering when I see some of those dishes. Some of the dishes look very unhealthy, but still you feel like you want to just eat it all up. And yeah, This is Africa says, most of the UK get their salmon from Alaska, and that is very expensive. Yes, fish is very expensive here in the UK, actually. And one thing that I've noticed about fish here in the UK, I've bought tilapia from here, and you get them from like the Asian shops. You can buy a big bag of maybe like 7. But then the tilapia that they give you, they're so tiny. They're like this big. And if you watch my video on the tilapia in Uganda, they're like proper big fish with lots, and they're thick, they're fat. So you get a lot of the flesh on there. You're not struggling. The one here, it's like as soon as you press it, you're on the bone. You don't have the depth of flesh. So I don't know. We're obviously getting even the avocados. The avocados here are like the Hass avocados, the Spanish ones, the small ones. You rarely see the massive ones that I brought over from Uganda. So yes, it's very hard. So, oh no, when they go out of business. So yeah, yeah, you hardly see those produce. And I know a lot of the issues are because of the regulations of having to have standardized foods and whatnot. So a lot of the things are being missed out from Africa. So the kids have just come back in the house. The only fast food chain, this is Africa, says the only fast food chain in America that is of any quality of both good tasting food and healthy eating is Panda Express. I've never actually heard of Panda Express. What do they do? I've heard of Jack's, they do burgers. I've heard of Wendy's. You can hear the kids here now. Mr. Ryan, where are you? Yeah, did you have fun in the park? Yeah. Stay there, Nora. Stay there. Yes? Wow, thank you. So I'm going to wrap this stream up because the kids need my attention now. And yes, darling. Yes, I will try some. So Oh, really? I know in Nigeria, the fast food one they have is Mr. Biggs, which is like a burger place. But I've never heard of Panda Express. I should look that up, and I've never seen one in the States. I've been to the States. I've never seen a Panda Express or heard of it as just a general, like a well-known place. I've heard of Red Lobster. I love Red Lobster. I love lobster. It was a streetcar vendor selling. Thank you, my darling. Yeah, I think it was a street vendor selling it. Oh, okay. It was a street vendor. What, selling the food of Panda Express? Or is Panda Express more like a side cart thing? I'm not sure. I'm going to Google it after this. So thank you very much for joining me here on A Producer's Life in Uganda. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe and please spread the word to other people out there. I am taking a back seat from YouTube, but I will continue to do the weekly lives after the Let's Cook airing. And I will do my best, but I will be looking forward to seeing what you think of the show. And it's funny that This is Africa, you've heard of Martin Semper, who's Pablo Semper's dad. I think in one of the shows he says that the person who inspired him to cook is his stepmom, who I think is American. And his dad is also good, and his dad cooks really good pork. So thank you very much for coming on board. Take care for now. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Yes, his dad. I thought I told you that. No, don't come here. I replied to your comment. I said that is his dad. So we better settle this thing now. Why were you surprised? I responded to you to say that Martin Semper is Pablo Semper's dad. I did. You missed it. Go check. I said, yes, that's his son. I said, that's his son, which means he's the dad. You must have missed that. You must have missed that, yes. And in his story, Pablo Semper's story, he shared that, when he was younger, his parents had him when he was young, and they weren't able to look after him. I mean, they weren't together. They did stay together and whatnot. So he went to go and stay with family, and then he came back again. And so he shared his story, which was really touching and really nice. And he has a good relationship, a really lovely relationship with his dad was his inspiration. And that, he's able to just talks to him, and he just, goes through life with him and things like that. And so, so that was really nice, touching, sharing story about how life might not start out how you would want it to, but still you can make the most out of it. And when he was doing the show, I didn't know of Martin Semper. I didn't know. I think it was only maybe like the semifinals that he mentioned it, and somebody was like, oh, are you related to Martin Semper in any way? And then it's like, yeah, that's my dad. So so that's quite interesting. But thank you very much. I shall bid you adieu. And tomorrow I'm going to the beach here in the south of England, and I'm actually going to do a collaboration with Rita Ayeri. And hopefully you'll be able to see that video. So I'll go to the beach here in the UK, talk about the different things here in the UK, and she will go to the beach in Uganda and show us like what the facilities are like and what the things are like there in Uganda as well. And then hold on. And then we will we'll put the videos together, and then we will share with you our findings. So that's Rita Amiari. I hope I've said her name properly, and I'll actually put a link to her YouTube page below. I'll put it as a comment, and then you'll be able to see what type of stuff she does as well. She does hair, she does travel vlogs, and we will be collaborating. But hopefully over the next few months, I'll be able to collaborate with a lot of the Ugandan YouTubers. So I'll be able to show life from here while they show life out there in Uganda. And then we can show you all what the compare and contrast kind of stuff. And you'll be able to see that. So that should be quite fun. And then you also get to know some of the Ugandan YouTubers. So thank you very much. Take it. Yes, my darling. You want me? Okay, my kids want me. So take care for now. God bless. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Take care for now. Bye bye. Producer's Life in Uganda is out.